Well, how about it, y'all? This is Daniel Nicholson with Nicholson Farms, and welcome back to another video. If you can see behind me, we have a new toy on the farm. Very excited to have it here. This gravity wagon was actually my granddad's. My granddad passed away 2 years ago, and I asked my grandma if I could have the old gravity wagon. We used to store oats in it. My granddad used to get oats combined every year. We used some for planting and also to feed the horses. It's almost empty. It's probably got about, I don't know, 200-300 pounds of oats left in it. Waiting for my dad to get home. We're gonna unload it and get this thing put in the barn. Hopefully by next week, I'm gonna get some bulk feed for the pigs in this thing. This is gonna save us a lot of time and a lot of labor. We don't have a front end loader tractor. Whenever time I get those big bulk sacks of feed, I have to borrow somebody's tractor, either from work, a friend, a neighbor, or something like that, in order to get the bags of feed off the trailer. We have picked them up with our boom pole in the back of the tractor. It works, but I need to get the bags filled a little bit less. It's just very, very aggravating. With this thing, I can take it, get it filled up. I'm not exactly sure how much it holds. I'm thinking it's a 4-ton. A lot of these old gravity wagons were either 4 tons or 5 tons. I think this one's a little bit on the smaller end, so I think it's going to be a 4-ton. But we'll be testing that out very soon. But we got several things on here that we're going to be fixing in the near future. And I'm hoping to make a couple videos of redoing this thing and bringing it back to life. It's perfectly fine the way it is. I wouldn't trust pulling it way down the road. In order to go get feed, I only have to go about 5 miles. And I'm really thinking about hooking it up to the tractor to go get the feed and bring it back. Just not risking high speeds or anything like that. I've never pulled this thing fully loaded on the highway, so I have no clue how it acts. And I really don't want to put it behind my nice truck and something goes wrong. So let's look around the thing real quick. I'll show you a couple things that stick out to me that we need to fix. Then as soon as my dad gets here, we're gonna get this thing unloaded and get it put underneath the shed. So surprisingly, the lawnmower actually pulls this thing around pretty well while it's empty. Like I said, it's got 200-300 pounds in it. But fully loaded, I don't think that little Cub Cadet's gonna do it. But it's actually very easy to back this thing up using that 0 turn. If you've ever backed up a trailer that's got the axle that pivots in the front, it can be aggravating. We had to push this thing up on our car haul or trailer to get it home, and it took about 20 minutes to get it backed up on the trailer. But as far as the gravity wagon itself, obviously we have some surface rust. So a nice sanding job and a paint job is in the near future. The ladder on the back is pretty bad shape. This one's not terrible, but we might look at go ahead and replacing both ladders. I've got one here, also have one in the back. Like I said, this one's in pretty bad shape. Welds, or the metal's breaking there. The weld's busted down here. So we need to make some ladders, probably tack those on there. Also, I noticed while moving around, a couple of these bolts are missing. I guess this is a 3x6 or something like that my granddad put on there. Need to put some bolts in there to keep this thing from rocking. You can see it's moving. I'm sure when it's loaded, it's no big deal. Also, some of the framing, I noticed one weld over here is kind of cracked, and there's one in the front as well that's cracked. So definitely need to do some work. I might get some angle iron and go ahead and replace these pieces, and I can actually lag bolt it down into this 2x6. But other than that, most of the structure in this looks really well. Like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and load it up one time. But once that load's done, or while I have that load in there, I'm gonna be checking out all the hubs and everything. It rolls just fine now. But as you can see, we've got some cracks in the tires. Probably some new tires coming in the near future. Need to make sure I have a spare whenever I go get feed next week. The inside is actually in pretty good shape. You can see where my granddad painted some of it. Need a little more paint. This thing was actually barn kept for as long as I can remember. My granddad's had it probably 15-20 years, and it's been in the barn other than the day that they harvest. He pulls it out, fills it up, and then it goes right back into the barn. So it's been real well kept. It's just a little older, needs a little TLC. Before my dad got home to help me with the oats and the gravity wagon, I figured I'd come up here and do something else that I had planned to do this afternoon. and that is to spread a little bit of seed. If I know the goats, they're gonna make this super aggravating. But up here is a spot that is very compacted ground. I don't know if this used to be the driveway to this old store that's up here, or this is just where everybody parked or what, but we can never get anything to grow up here. You can see this bare spot over here. It's there all year round. I mean, you can't really see the grass because it's so dry, but there is some grass there. But this is where I had the little pigs for a little while, and I meant to get some seed put out first before I moved them, kind of get the pigs to incorporate it into the ground a little bit. But we're gonna see if we can spread some seed on here and see if we can get something to sprout. What I actually have in the bag in my little spreader over here is a mixture that I mixed up earlier today and yesterday. We're planting all the food plots where I work, and we had some leftover seed, got them all done today. We had some leftover seed. What it is winter oats, winter wheat, and some radishes. Radishes are hopefully gonna be our friend up here if we can get them to sprout. And actually, I'm planning on spreading some radishes, hopefully over all the pastures, along with some oats, just to give us a little bit of forage through the winter. But what the radishes are gonna do is, as they grow, you know, radish grows in kind of a ball or a bulb. I don't know necessarily if it's a bulb, but what it's gonna do is make a divot in the ground, and that's gonna kind of break up our soil a little bit, open up the soil, let some air and water, what we call permeability, how much air and water movement you can have through the soil. And up here on this hard compacted ground, hopefully those radishes are gonna open up that soil, let some water in. Hopefully it'll hold some more organic material. We're also gonna focus on putting hay down on top of this ridge this winter, and along behind me where it's really pretty much bare ground right now. Part of that's because of the drought. But we're gonna try to get some organic material, get some live roots into the ground, hopefully break up the soil a little bit, and hopefully we can start growing some grass up here where, for as long as I can remember, really there's no grass been growing. But before we do that, I walked up here, and of course up here is where my pigs are, and I noticed we've got a couple little piggies that aren't following the rules. In our last video, we moved our pigs for the first time into a new pen, and we have 2 strands of wire dividing the old pen and the new pen. Well, we have 5 of them that decided to come back into the old pen. I've got my fence tester. Let's see how hot the wire is and see if we can get them back where they belong. If the fence isn't hot, looks like I have something else to do this afternoon. So I just tested the fence. It's definitely not hot. And here goes the pigs back and forth as they please. So let me walk the fence line real quick and see where we're losing some power. Well, that makes sense. I'm an idiot. This is supposed to be connected to here. I would say we're working now. 6,000 volts. Let's see if one of them try it. Nobody wants to run through it now. I don't want to push them through it, but I want them to know it's hot. Well, I'm not going to push them through it. They're not testing it right now, but it is extremely hot now. So while I'm spreading these seeds, I might hear a yelp and know that they found it. That one just just got popped a little bit. I saw it shake its head and didn't squeal. Didn't get a good hit, but got a little bit of it. Walked away from the fence at least. So I'm about to get started spreading seed. I'm gonna put it on time lapse because I know as soon as I pour this bag into this spreader, the goats are gonna be all on me. So I need to pour it and take off and start spreading. Well, we're done with that. I just made sure everybody had feed and water up here. Let's go see if my dad's ready to unload some oats and put the gravity wagon underneath the bin, underneath the shed. So I forgot to mention why I've been planting all yesterday and all today is Hurricane Ian, I think it's Ian, is on the way. It is touched Florida, I believe. Today's Wednesday. It's supposed to hit South Carolina Friday. So we're expecting about 6 to 4 inches of rain. So some of that seed might get washed away. Some of it might get pushed into the ground. Hopefully the goats walking over it will cover it up some, hold it in place. But the hurricane is on the way. We're supposed to get, like I said, 4 to 6 inches and about 30-mile-per-hour wind. So it could get a little nasty. It's gonna be a whole lot worse for a lot of other folks. So keep them in your hopes and prayers. Trying to shut this gate. Hopefully we don't get impacted too hard. We could use the rain for sure. I don't know about 6 inches in 2 days, but we'll take what we can get. Not going to complain.
Go. What we're doing here today is bagging wheat. Oats.
Get. Matthew drove it under the trees. We got a bunch of stuff. Feed this and let me spread it. Huh? What? You gonna feed this and let me spread it?
Spread it.
Huh?
You can spread it. We unloading this one. We gotta put the orange head.
Super happy to have the gravity wagon here in Newberry now. Something that we're going to be able to use a lot and save a lot of time, save a lot of headaches. So much needed around here. Really could use another one. But we also went up there, spread the wheat and oats and all that stuff, took care of the pigs, goats and the pigs are still aggravating, but I love them. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, leave us a comment, and we'll see y'all on the next one.